Well, he also negotiated at least a temporary solution to this with Ryan before Ryan left office. So he's and the main thing that changed that made that not a viable solution was Trump's decision to demand the wall. So he knows it, and I think he knows that there's not a really good way out of this. But at the same time, it's been an interesting situation where I think his sort of partisan loyalties and his institutional loyalties are in a pretty interesting point of conflict.
We always know which one of those two wins. You're joining us.
That's right.
Coming up, as the Mueller probe continues in relative silence, when will House Democrats start public hearings? I'll talk to one of the newest members of the Intelligence Committee about their strategy next.
The biggest breakthrough in oral care is finally here, using sonic toothbrush technology and the world's #1 water flosser. Introducing Waterpick Sonic Fusion.
With Waterpick Sonic Fusion, you can now brush and floss at the same time. It's one step to a complete clean. Because if you just brush and you don't floss, you could have problems like plaque buildup, gum disease, tooth decay, and bad breath. In a recent clinical study, Waterpick Sonic Fusion was shown to be twice as effective as regular brushing and flossing for removing plaque and for improving gum health. Here's how Waterpick Sonic Fusion works. The Sonic toothbrush effectively cleans the surfaces of your teeth, while the built-in water flosser pulses water from the center of the toothbrush, cleaning in between teeth and below the gum line. Think just brushing your teeth is enough? Watch this. This cord is like your teeth. A regular toothbrush just gets the surface. An electric toothbrush doesn't do much better. Other Sonic toothbrushes fail as well. But Waterpick Sonic Fusion thoroughly cleans the surfaces, and it cleans in between teeth for a complete clean. It's now fast and easy to get better results.
Order your Waterpick Sonic Fusion now for just 4 easy payments of $49.95. Act now, and we'll include a full 3-year supply of Sonic Fusion brush heads. Try Waterpick Sonic Fusion for 60 days. If you don't love it, return it for a full refund. We'll even pay return shipping. Call or go online now to receive Waterpick Sonic Fusion and a 3-year supply of brush heads plus free shipping. That's a total value of over $325. You can choose white with chrome trim or black with copper. Brush and floss at the same time for a complete clean. Order right now.
Are the credit cards in your wallet actually the best ones for you? At NerdWallet, we sort through hundreds of credit cards to find the top cards for balance transfer, travel, earning rewards, and other perks. Using your unique info to narrow the search, NerdWallet makes it easy to find credit cards that work harder than the ones you have now. Stop missing out. Visit nerdwallet.com to find the cards that are made for you.
I'm not ready to lose my hair. Not now. But I never thought there was a real solution. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And I can get my treatment without leaving the couch. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
When you rent a car on Turo, you're renting from a real person. No shuttle rides, no waiting in line, and no wandering a car lot. This is better than your typical car rental. This is Turo. Download the app today.
When the facts are hidden in the shadows, and every lead takes you further down a winding trail, but closer to the truth, that's when the stories you unearth can shake the world.
Exclusive report from NBC News. This is exclusive to us. NBC News is out today with some exclusive new reporting.
Much will be off limits when Michael Cohen testifies before the House Oversight Committee on February 7th, according to 2 Republican committee members. In a letter to Cohen's attorney, Congressman Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows said by Cohen's media advisor, Lonnie Davis, that Cohen's testimony will exclude any matter under investigation. Who knows if that's true? It would include both the Russia probe and the campaign finance crimes investigated by federal prosecutors in New York. And if it is true, it means the Cohen hearings wouldn't produce any new answers to the urgent questions swirling around for months about whether the President of the United States broke the law to get elected and whether he has continued to do so in office. Lawmakers like to say they're waiting to see what Robert Mueller comes up with. They don't want to step on investigators' toes. But as investigative reporter Michael Isikoff on last night's show, there is no historical precedent for that kind of approach.
When Sam Ervin held the Senate Watergate hearings, did he ask Archibald Cox's permission to hold those hearings? When Peter Regino began impeachment hearings questions on Richard Nixon. Did he ask for Leon Jaworski's permission to do so? No, because everybody accepted that Congress had a job to do. We're now going to see whether Elijah Cummings, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler will step up to the plate and do their job here. And that means public hearings, not behind closed doors.
Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney is a Democrat from New York and one of the newest members of the House Intelligence Committee. Let's start with the basic thrust of what Michael said last night, which I happen to agree with. The need for public, transparent hearings. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's obviously a terrific idea where it's appropriate. I don't think you're going to see any of those chairmen shrink from their responsibilities. But I think the number one goal, I know particularly on the Intelligence Committee, is also to return a level of seriousness and professionalism to the conduct of these proceedings. In short supply under Republican control, where it descended into this partisan circus. But there are public hearings scheduled with Michael Cohen in front of the Oversight Committee. That's already on the calendar. The committees are just getting constituted this week. I think you'll see very aggressive oversight by this new Democratic majority, and it's long overdue.
You said you agreed, quote, where appropriate. What is the where appropriate caveat to your mind?
Because, particularly with respect to the Intelligence Committee, there's naturally going to be an opportunity in closed session to discuss highly classified or sensitive materials, which we know are central to a lot of these investigations. And I think what you'll see is the new chairman absolutely committed to transparency, but also you'll see him take seriously his responsibilities to protect the United States and to conduct the committee with the seriousness and professionalism that it used to have. But nobody's pulling any punches on congressional oversight. I guarantee you, there are a lot of Democratic chairmen and chairwomen up here who are ready to go and provide the kind of oversight this administration desperately needs.
It's not a question of pulling punches to me. It's more about publicness versus behind closed doors. So in the Intelligence Committee, obviously, all of that has been behind closed doors. We now know that there are transcripts, obviously. The committee chair, Adam Schiff, has said he's going to move to share them with Robert Mueller. But shouldn't those be made public?
If you're talking about the transcripts, I think what you're going to see is an orderly process there to make sure that there's no disclosure of secrets or confidential information. Look, nobody in the new Democratic majority is going to do anything to hide the ball. The only thing we're going to take seriously is the professionalism that should characterize the proceedings up here. It should not be some partisan circus. We should not be pursuing some political objective. We should be searching for the truth. And when you're dealing with highly classified material, it's important sometimes to do that behind closed doors. And one thing that Michael Iskoff left out was that we have also seen examples where congressional committees have gotten away of federal prosecutions, particularly in the Iran-Contra investigation, where in fact subjects were not ultimately subject to criminal accountability because a bunch of members of Congress went too far. So I want the truth out. I think the chairman absolutely shares that objective, and I think you will see very public oversight in the Judiciary Committee and in the Government Reform and Oversight Committee and in the Intelligence Committee where it doesn't threaten our nation's secrets. But getting the job done right is also a priority, and being professionals and being nonpartisan, I think, is also important.
I want to ask you about something the president's lawyer said last night, which confuses all of us, and maybe you have a clue into it. He said, I've been through all the tapes, I've been through all the texts, I've been through all the emails, I knew none existed. Isaac Schotner, the New Yorker, saying, wait, what tapes have you gone through? Good follow-up question. Giuliani, I shouldn't have said tapes. There were no texts, there were no emails, and the president never told me why. So there were no tapes you listened to, though? No tapes. Well, I have listened to tapes of them concern this. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
No, and I think it's a sad state of affairs when, Giuliani has become a noun, meaning, incomprehensible stuff, or a verb when you make a fool out of yourself and have to say something different the next day on TV. Those of us from New York remember a different Giuliani, and it's quite sad to see the depths that he's sunk to. Some of us remember a steady hand after 9/11, and even when you disagreed with his politics, you thought he was a serious person. Unfortunately, he's lost that in service of the president.
Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, thank you very much. Still to come, the chef that travels to disaster-stricken areas to feed them opens up a food kitchen on Pennsylvania Avenue for unpaid government workers. My interview with Chef Jose Andres ahead. Plus, tonight's Thing 1, Thing 2 starts next.
Before I was diagnosed by my doctor, I didn't know why my body was moving like it had a mind of its own. My eyes blinked way too much, even though I didn't mean to. It turns out I have tardive dyskinesia, a condition related related to important medications I take for my bipolar disorder. My fingers moved like they were playing a piano that wasn't there. I was embarrassed that others could see my movements. My doctor said tardive dyskinesia can affect different parts of the body. It may also affect people who take medication for depression and schizophrenia. I know I shouldn't change or stop my medication, so I was glad to learn that TD is manageable.
If this sounds like you or someone you know, visit talkabouttd.com or call 1-800-824-9410 to receive a free brochure that describes the uncontrollable movements of TD and where on the body they might occur. You'll find a free discussion guide with ways to start a conversation with your doctor about how TD might be affecting you.
It's a relief to know that today TD is manageable. Learn more at talkabouttd.com.
Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Pet care ain't easy. 12 hours, 20 dogs. Where's your belly rubs?
After a day of chasing dogs, you shouldn't have to chase down payments. Send invoices and accept payments to get paid twice as fast.
It's time to get yours.
QuickBooks, backing you.
I'm Alex Trebek, here to tell you about the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan, available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed, and this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock. Your rate can never go up for any reason. And with this plan, you can pick your payment date, so you can time your premium due date to work with your budget. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner, and it's yours just for calling. So call now.
Call 1-800-775-7230 for your free information and your free gift. Number again is 1-800-775-7230. Call now.
Tomorrow, Rachel's live with Senator Kamala Harris on the heels of her 2020 announcement. How will the senator set herself apart in a crowded Democratic field?
I'm prepared to fight, and I believe it will be a winning fight.
The Rachel Maddow Show tomorrow at 9 on MSNBC.
We are going to start with something different tonight. This is one of those things that you have not been otherwise hearing about in the news, but stick with me.
Feed your mind with fresh perspective. Get your favorite MSNBC shows now as podcasts.
Thing one tonight, Martin Luther King Jr. Day has come and gone, and as usual, all sorts of people tried to co-opt his message for their own political purposes. Most notably, Mike Pence quoting Dr. King to push for Trump's border wall. The NRA tweeted about Dr. King's denied application for a concealed carry permit to make their case for the right to self-defense. Even the white supremacy spouting Congressman Steve King, no relation, used the words of MLK about the dangers of staying silent about things that matter. But it was the brand spanking new governor of Tennessee, Republican Bill Lee, who may have had the worst day when he spoke at Tennessee State University's MLK Day of Service and Convocation yesterday.
I wonder what Dr. King would think about where we are today. And I think that he would think that there has been much progress made, but he would think that we have a long way to go. And that is what I believe as well.
After the governor spoke, he took his seat on stage, and our old friend, the Reverend Dr. William Barber, took his turn.
Politicians can't say they love Dr. King and how he stood for love and unity, but then you refuse to support his agenda. Right, Governor?
You're going to want to stay tuned for Thing 2 in 60 seconds.
Family
taco night is a heartburn night you can plan for. But surprise pizza at the office means heartburn you didn't expect. Zantac works when you need it. It relieves or prevents heartburn in as little as 30 minutes and lasts up to 12 hours. Zantac. Eat your way, treat your way. This is Fracture. Just upload an image, place your order, and it'll show up at your door. You can print it directly on glass. And this isn't just another frame, not just another canvas. This is new. This is a Fracture. Visit FractureMe.com and print one today.
Over 1 million of our loved ones are in nursing homes today. We hope and pray that they receive the best care. Unfortunately, too often that doesn't happen. Every day we receive calls from families heartbroken that their loved ones are suffering from severe bed sores or have broken bones after falling, as well as many other unexplained injuries. These are often caused by nursing home neglect or abuse, and is devastating to your family. You only have a limited time to file a claim. Don't wait.
Call 1-800-772-3111.
So, Reverend William Barber spoke at an event in Nashville yesterday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. He followed the new Republican governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, and Barber was just not having any of it.
Politicians can't say they love Dr. King and how he stood for love and unity, but then you refuse to support his agenda. Right, Governor? And since you came, right, Congressman? So, let me show you what I mean, Governor. Dr. King would not have been for a wall. And how many of y'all are not against a wall? Everybody here that's not against the wall, politician, everybody, and will tell Donald Trump, you don't need to be building a wall to separate people. We need to be spending money to give people health care. Stand on your feet. Now, anybody that doesn't stand on your feet, you get to see. Wait a minute. How many folk in here believe, like Dr. King, that everybody ought to have what Teddy Roosevelt, a Republican, asked for 100 years ago, and that's health care for every citizen? Everybody believes that. Stand up. Now, if you can't stand up for that, then don't say you love Dr. King. Governor, what's your last name? No, that ain't no, that's not no Navajo name. Just like Barber, even I'm mixed with it, that comes out of England. So how is it that a whole bunch of folk that are nothing but immigrants themselves now want to pass some laws that if those laws were in place in the 1920s, their own great-grandmamas wouldn't have been able to come here?
For the record, Bill Lee says he's a seventh-generation Tennessean, but 3 days into his new job, I think the governor maybe got the message.
You may be seated. I'm just saying, I'm too old to play now.
I'll shoot you an estimate as soon as I get back to the office.
Hey, I can help you do that right now. I Thrive. Right. Yep, I'm the all-in-one management software built for small business. I Thrive. Help me with scheduling? Sure thing. Up top. I Thrive.
Payments,
I Thrive.
promotions,
I Thrive.
email marketing,
Almost there. Hold on. Wait for it. I Thrive.
manage my customer list.
Can do, will do. I Thrive.
Post on social media?
Hashtag I Thrive, my friend.
Get your free 7-day trial today. Do you use catheters? Are you using the catheter that's really good for you?
Oh, yeah.
For years, I've been using one kind of catheter, and I never knew that there were other really great catheters available until Liberator sent me samples to try. If I had not tried the samples from Liberator, I might never have found the perfect catheter for me. Liberator Medical sent me a catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. Now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier. My catheters were completely paid for, not a dime out of my pocket.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical. Get your free catheter sample pack. Call 1-800-844-1960. That's 1-800-844-1960.
Look, isn't that Frank Thomas?
The big hurt.
More like a big hug.
What's your secret? I discovered Nugenics.
I wish my husband did.
It's easy. Just send a text. If you're a guy over 40, text 231231 and enter the word FLASH to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free booster at GNC. Nugenics is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels, to help you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive, more passion too. Here, try a bottle, and trust me, she'll like it too. Text 231231 and enter FLASH to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores, so text 231231 and enter FLASH. And I got 19 referrals.
I got 12 new students. I got 9 new listings.
I got a print, and I got 500 business cards for just under $9.
Dotprint.com specializes in high-quality, full-color business cards at extremely affordable prices.
I love the quality of the printing and the savings. Amazing customer service. You guys rock.
Order now and get 500 business cards for as low as $8.50. Go to dotprint.com. Promote yourself.
We are going to wrestle with the facts here because there is a lot on the table. You were telling the truth about a lie.
No. Well, okay, so yes.
Yes.
It's not about politics. It's not about being a Republican or a Democrat.
People are talking about whether they are under attack, their identities.
Yeah.
We've gone from more money, more problems to more Mueller, more problems.
The Beat with Ari Melber. Weeknights at 6 on MSNBC.
In the last hour, a New York federal judge sentencing Cohen to 3 years in prison.
Tonight's other major piece of new reporting broken by NBC News.
We're following a number of fast-paced developing stories this morning.
My understanding is that Professor Gates then shows his ID to show that this is his house. And at that point, he gets arrested for disorderly conduct. Charges which are later dropped. I think it's fair to say, number one, any of us would be pretty angry. Number two, that the Cambridge police acted stupidly in arresting somebody when there was already proof that they were in their own home.
I remember the moment President Obama said that because I was standing in the room and it did not seem like he was saying anything particularly controversial. He was referring to a police officer handcuffing one of the most famous academics in the country on his own front porch because he mistook the 58-year-old black man for a burglar. And yet what followed was one of the most surreal reactionary backlashes of recent memory, with conservatives inveighing against the president and ultimately managing to push him into a painfully awkward beer summit on the White House grounds, in which the professor, Henry Louis Gates Jr., and the officer were invited to have a conversation about it all. I was reminded of that story when Laura Ingraham reported today the president was inviting the students of Covington Catholic to the White House, but the White House immediately moved to knock that down. Both the Gates incident and the Covington Catholic incident on the mall captured the conservative imagination, inspired passionate outrage against what the right saw as a rush to judgment. Both similar to the reaction in defense of Justice Brett Kavanaugh when he was accused by Dr. Christine Blasey Ford of sexual assault when they were both in high school. Each of those stories are quite different in the particulars. We should note the nature of the charge of wrongdoing against the white men and boys, the seriousness of the offense, the position they occupied, and details of what they did or did not do wrong. And in each case, in the specifics, there was a case surely to be marshaled on behalf of the white males accused of wrongdoing. But it's not the particulars that drive the passion that make it the lead on Trump's TV with 20-minute segments. Conservative writer David French summed it up succinctly. Last year, looked at the furious attack on Kavanaugh and thought, that could be my husband. Now conservative moms look at the wild attempt to destroy the Covington kids and think, that could be my son. The defining conservative experience of this era is the palpable terror and rage at a social hierarchy that is threatening to tip over and land on its head. One in which those who enjoy a basic kind of American privilege, the right to due process and second chances, readings of their actions and even mistakes, find themselves, seemingly without warning, tossed instead onto the unforgiving bonfire of snap judgment and harsh punishment. And I understand why they are scared of that, why they want to fight it. Because America is already the most punitive developed nation on earth. For poor people, for people of color, For those who don't have Brett Kavanaugh's pedigree or the authority of a badge or $10,000 a year to spend on private school tuition or money to hire a PR firm. We throw millions of lives onto that bonfire every year. They just don't normally look like the teenagers in MAGA hats. The answer isn't a society that's more punitive, where social media mobs doxing children, one that permanently marks for life teenagers of all social strata, but rather a society of empathy, compassion, and accountability, evenly, equitably, and justly applied. But, funnily enough, it is hard to get the modern conservative grassroots mobilized on behalf of that goal when the kids being stamped and judged and locked away don't make them think that could be my son.
Not getting enough cash back with that credit card?
Turn to the nerds.
Want to invest that bonus?
Turn to the nerds.
Looking for the perfect mortgage?
Turn to the nerds.
Oops. Sorry about that. Hey there. Need a travel rewards card?
Turn.
Auto loan?
To
Want a lower interest rate?
the nerds.
The experts at NerdWallet make it easy to make smart money moves. Compare credit cards, mortgages, savings accounts, and more at nerdwallet.com.
Remember that degree you got in taxation? Of course you don't, because you didn't. Your job isn't doing hard work. It's making them do hard work and getting paid for it.
Snap and sort your expenses to save over $4,600 at tax time. QuickBooks, backing you.
Diamonds at their lowest price in years. Half-carat solitaires are now $3.99, 1-carat $7.90, 2-carat $9.50 per carat, plus 1-carat studs $3.99. Insane prices on thousands of GIA diamonds and designer rings. Buy direct, the Jewelry Exchange. Audible members know listening has the power to change us, make us better parents, better leaders, better people. And there's no better place to listen than Audible. With Audible, you get a credit good for any audiobook and exclusive fitness and wellness programs. And now, you'll also get 2 Audible originals, titles exclusively produced for Audible. Automatically roll your credits over to the next month if you don't use them. And if you don't like a book, just swap it for free. Enjoy 100% ad-free listening in the car, on your phone, or any connected device. And when you switch a device, pick up right where you left off. With our commitment-free guarantee, there's never been a better time to start listening to Audible. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories, the best place to listen. To start your free 30-day trial, text LISTEN27 to 500-500 today.
This is just what I thought. It's all going to have to come out.
If you don't have dental insurance, paying the bill can be really expensive. After all, just a simple cleaning can cost $150. And other procedures like crowns and root canals can cost hundreds, even thousands more. But now you can get dental for about $1 a day from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. Call us for a free information kit. Our dental insurance helps cover over 350 procedures. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no deductibles and there's no annual maximum. Plus, you can see any dentist you choose. Take the pain out of big dental bills with Physicians Mutual. Call us now for your free information kit with all the details.
32 days into the longest shutdown in history, one of the most iconic images has been bread lines for federal workers. 32 days in and thousands of people are facing eviction. Air traffic controllers are resigning. TSA officers aren't showing up to work. A new study says the shutdown has already had the same economic impact as a hurricane. Now, as hundreds of thousands of Americans are now looking at another missed paycheck, keep in mind that 40% of Americans don't have $400 available in case of an emergency. Joining now, Jose Andres, award-winning chef and humanitarian, his World Central Kitchen, help bring food to people in need across the world. Jose, tell me a little bit about how you set up this kitchen, what motivated you to do it?
Well, let me tell you, Chris, we believe at World Central Kitchen that we have a food crisis. We have many people in the federal government, right here in Washington, D.C., many other cities across the country, mothers, single parents with children, already without one paycheck. Probably the next one, they're not going to get it. And they need to feed their children. That's what we're we're doing it, to make sure that no American will go to bed hungry.
You know, it's striking how busy it is behind you. I'm wondering, has the demand been what you expected? And what are you hearing from the people that are coming through to eat there?
Well, this event began 3 days ago. I opened actually 3 days ago this kitchen, but many of my for-profit restaurants, we've been doing it from day one. Also, many of my friends in Washington, D.C., like And Pizza and Sweet Greens, many others. So the private sector, we've been doing it for weeks. One Central Kitchen, we are an NGO that we are supposed to be feeding Americans and people around the world after emergencies. This to us is an emergency. People are telling us all types of stories. We have right now not only federal workers, but contractors, people that they are trying to apply for food stamps, what we know as SNAPs, and they are being denied those food stamps. So it's people that have no option. A job that is not paying them, and then they're trying to apply for food stamps and they are not receiving the aid they expect. All of a sudden, we're going to have, in the next few days, even a bigger problem.
You've done these kinds of kitchens in the wake of disasters. You did it in Puerto Rico. You've done it in California. What are your thoughts about having to do it in this condition in which there is no natural disaster, has been no hurricane, there are no fires? The only thing that's stopping the government from being shut down is the president's insistence on his wall.
Well, let me tell you one thing. I came back from Tijuana a few days ago. One Central Kitchen has been feeding there the many refugees that are in different shelters right at the border. And quite frankly, those are men and women that they need the job. They need to provide for their children. They need to provide for their families. To me, that's not a national emergency. This has been happening forever. So for me, that somebody is trying only to create this chaos out of nothing, quite frankly, hard. This is a problem that is being created by our government, by the White House and by Congress. Actually, this shouldn't be happening. Government is here to serve the people, not the people being taken hostage by the government. So this needs to end now. How we do it? By opening a kitchen right on Pennsylvania Avenue, equal distance from the White House and Congress. What we need to do is that our politicians, hopefully maybe our president will show up, will break bread here with the federal workers, and they will see that people are really suffering, and it's a suffering that should end because they have the power to end it in any second. They need to come together to the table and agree to disagree with each other and put an end to this shutdown.
Have you had politicians come through?
Yep, we've been having already many politicians, senators, congressmen. Today we had a good day of men and women serving. I saw Senator Kane. He spent almost an hour with us. I saw Congressman Castro. He spent a lot of time with us too. We've been having, again, many more is more coming. We hope it's a place where Republicans and Democrats together will come to serve the federal workers, to listen in to their problems, to see everything they're facing right now, especially not being able to put food in the table to feed their children.
You were very active in Puerto Rico. You were there on the ground almost immediately. You fed a tremendous amount of people. You have a book about it. What are your reflections on some of the news that the president has been working hard to take money from funding from Puerto Rico? They've objected to some of the allocations passed out of Congress, and we still don't really know the full story of what happened there.
Well, let me tell you one thing. I hope it's not true. Puerto Rico is a beautiful part of America and the Caribbean. Puerto Rico should be next to Washington, D.C., the next two states to join the United States of America with full voting rights. So I'm going to say this. The people of Puerto Rico, the American people of Puerto Rico, they don't want our pity, they want our respect. We need to keep helping them to come back stronger. So I hope it's not true. I hope that it's not happening, that we are moving funds, that they are dedicated to Puerto Rico away. And I hope that if anything, Congress will realize that what we have to do is to come up with a Marshall Plan to help help Puerto Rico keep moving forward. Puerto Rico is an opportunity for America to seize.
Yeah.
Let's hope Congress sees that and we keep investing in Puerto Rico, not taking money away from Puerto Rico.
All right, Jose Andres, you're doing amazing work, and thank you for making a little bit of time to talk to me today.
Thank you very much. See you, Chris.
That is all in for this evening. The 11th hour with Brian Williams starts right now. Tonight, just an hour away from day 33 of the shutdown, there's talk of two planned votes, but no predictions of opening back up again. Also uncertain tonight if and where there will be a State of the Union address this year. Meanwhile, FBI agents reveal real-world implications and the alarming effects of this shutdown on them inside the nation's premier law enforcement agency. And another day, another walk back by Giuliani. Also reports tonight the president's now exasperated. Plus, a decorated veteran of the FBI has a disturbing theory on the Trump campaign and Russia, all of it, as the 11th hour gets underway on a Tuesday night. Well, good evening once again from our NBC News headquarters here in New York. Day 733 of the Trump administration, and we're now into month 2 of this government shutdown. 2 days, it will now become 33 at the end of this hour. We're also just minutes away from another deadline that directly impacts 800,000 federal workers and tens of thousands more who depend on them for their living. At the stroke of midnight Eastern time tonight, those employees missed their second pay period. As anger and frustration over this shutdown grows, the president staying on message. He wrote, "This was a big day for capital letters, we should just tell you. Without a wall, our country can never have border or national security. With a powerful wall or steel barrier, crime rates and drugs will go substantially down all over the U.S. The Dems know this, but want to play political games. No cave. Never seen the Senate Majority Leader and Republicans so united on an issue." Well, a major test for that unity comes later this week when the Senate will vote on 2 competing bills to open back up the government. One of them is Trump's proposal that includes, as you well know, the billions to pay for a border wall or barrier or steel slats and temporary protections for certain immigrants, which they threw in. The other is the Democrats' plan to simply reopen the government till February the 8th without funding for the wall, while border security talks continue, but it would get paychecks out to those who've been going without. As of tonight, neither bill expected to clear the 60-vote hurdle for passage. This afternoon, Senate leaders were making their views known from the floor.
All that needs to happen is for our Democratic friends to agree that it's time to put the country ahead of politics, take yes for an answer, and vote to put this standoff behind us.
The president had to make a proposal to try and shake things up. It was not a good faith proposal. It was not intended to end the shutdown.
Meanwhile, the president's still planning to give a State of the Union address 1 week from tonight. Location, TBA. You may recall House Speaker Nancy Pelosi asked the president to delay the speech or submit it in writing as used to be done. Pelosi had cited security concerns related to the shutdown. Senior administration official tells NBC News that White House speechwriters are working on, quote, separate passages. Sounds like a daytime soap. If Trump were to deliver the speech somewhere else, and perhaps to an audience other than combined members of Congress. Pelosi was asked about the plan for the speech earlier today.
We understand that the White House has sent a letter to the Sergeant at Arms, but President Trump still intends to come give the State of the Union here next week.
Tonight, the White House press secretary was asked about next week's plans.
Will the president deliver the State of the Union from the Capitol?
Nancy Pelosi offered us, made the invitation to the president on the State of the Union. He accepted. She cited security concerns as a potential reason to delay it. Those concerns were addressed by the Department of Homeland Security and the United States Secret Service. At this point, we're moving forward.
There's a podium inside. She could use much warmer. No dice today. All the political maneuvering continues. This record-long shutdown now forcing nearly 1 million federal workers across this country to make difficult choices. Today, FBI agents issued a new report detailing how the shutdown is straining resources and hampering investigations. More on that just ahead. And justifiably, members of Congress are hearing about it, and it's getting louder and near impossible.
impossible to defend back home. During a town hall in Iowa, Republican Senator Joni Ernst was confronted by one of her constituents.
I am deeply ashamed that we have, at the moment, federal employees in soup lanes and trying to food for their families while they're still working. And I wonder how in the world anybody in the Senate can defend that.
I don't think we can.
The president is having a tantrum.
The Senate is not going to wait any longer. We are voting to reopen the government on Thursday, folks. I want to see this government reopen. Let's see what Democrats do. Let's see what they do.
And we have this from a TSA officer talking about her struggle through 5 weeks working without pay.
The job itself is already a stressful situation, but we feel disrespected. It's demeaning.
Let's bring in our leadoff panel for a Tuesday night, shall we? Shannon Petty-Peace, White House correspondent for Bloomberg, Jonathan Lemire, White House reporter for the Associated Press, and we welcome to the broadcast Eliza Collins, politics reporter for USA Today, who covers Congress. Good evening and welcome to you all. You were the latest to post, Mr. Lemire. Where do we stand on this right now?
Well, on one hand, the fact that there are bills introduced in the Senate is being interpreted by some as a first step, perhaps, to some sort of solution, some sort of bipartisan solution. As indicated, neither of these measures are expected to pass. This is not going to reopen the government. It's still going to be closed on Friday, unless something dramatic occurs that we don't foresee the next day or so. But there's a sense here, this is finally Mitch McConnell engaging with the process. To this point, he has been very much content to take a back seat.
Why was that?
Because he doesn't want to anger President Donald Trump, a fellow Republican who remains extremely popular with members of their shared party. So some are looking into this as this is perhaps a step in the right direction, but we have a long way to go. There's certainly pressure building in both parties. We know there are some Senate Republicans. You saw the video clip there, Senator Ernst getting additional heat from constituents. There's some pressure at home building to reopen the government. There are some centrist Democrats in the House who are trying to push Speaker Pelosi to put forth her own sort of compromise solution. To this point, of course, Pelosi is very content to say, we're not going to give the president a dime for this wall. This is a moral issue, not just a political one. We're not going to do it. It's up to the president, who, let's all remember, said he would own the shutdown. It's up to him to come up with a solution to reopen the government.
Eliza, it's very good to have you on. We'll play off the point Jonathan just made as I read you this quote. New York Times profile of the Senate Majority Leader, quote, the shutdown distilled the essence of Mitch McConnell's position in Trump's Washington, a man of institutions and establishments whose own legacy was now tied to that of a president who seems hell-bent on burning both to the ground. Now, it strikes me you could also insert Paul Ryan into those same mentions and have the very same paragraph written. Question to you is, how much leverage, Jonathan correctly reports he's off the bench, how much leverage does McConnell have in this right now?
He really doesn't have very much leverage. In December, McConnell and the Senate unanimously passed a bill that would keep the government funded at the current levels. And if you remember, that got sent over to the House. The president said, I'm not going to sign that, although he'd given indications to the Senate and to McConnell that he would sign it. So I think after that happened, McConnell basically said, all right, I'm only taking up something that the president will sign. And they thought that they put Democrats basically on the defense this weekend when the president came out with a proposal, an expanded proposal on what he would accept. There were some things in there that did make Democrats sort of have to think about it. Basically, 3-year protections for the so-called dreamers, undocumented immigrants who came to the country as children, and refugees who had been temporary protected status. But there were also all sorts of things hidden in the bills that would change the way asylum seekers can come to the U.S. And so Democrats have really roundly rejected that. And so basically over the weekend, Republicans were feeling a lot more confident about that bill, though it didn't really look like it would pass. They thought at least they could make Democrats uncomfortable. But as more has come to light within the bill, it doesn't look like Democrats are going to get on board there either. So McConnell's scheduling a vote with Trump's bill because Trump wants that vote.
Shannon, I have a quote for you, as convenience would have. From the Washington Post tonight, this speaks to the shutdown. Hundreds of Internal Revenue Service employees have received permission to skip work during the partial government shutdown due to financial hardship, and union leaders said Tuesday that they expected absences to surge as part of a coordinated protest that could hamper the government's ability to process taxpayer refunds on time. Now, there you go. Standing in an hour-long TSA line is one thing. Start screwing around with people's tax refunds. Now you've got the full, undivided attention of the American people. Shannon, the question is there any miracle in anybody's bag?
No, there is not. The White House does not know where the off-ramp is. This is not where they want to be. This was not in their plan. This was not in their priorities for their agenda. This is not where they wanted to be a month into 2019. They are looking for the off-ramp, and they don't know where it is. They have tried pretty much everything they can think of. They did the border visit. They did the Oval Office address. There was this proposal they came up with, and the sort of touted this announcement on Saturday to try and get the Democrats to the table. They're not making any progress. Tomorrow they're bringing in conservative leaders. They're going to have state and local leaders come in and try again to show that they're doing something, but it is not budging the Democrats. They don't know how to get out of this. And to the point of the IRS workers, yes, this is starting to get real now. We're 33 days in, whether it's the IRS workers, you're going to be talking to people at the FBI later, whether it's grand jury that can't be impaneled because they can't pay grand jurors, whether it's, just people coming to a school trip to Washington, D.C. who have the museums closed. Little things are going to make this seem real. And the goal of the White House so far has been to make this shutdown not seem real, and the Democrats have been trying to make it feel real with things like canceling the State of the Union. But so the more and more this starts to feel real, the worse and worse it gets for the White House, not the Democrats.
Jonathan, fast forward to the State of the Union. I don't know if this is going to be the first State of the Union in the history of the Republic that begins, it's great to be back in Waukesha. I don't know if we're going to take this on the road and make it a rally or a remote. Maybe if it's just delivered from the Oval Office, that would digress from tradition going back for all time. On this one, does Trump have the balance of power?
Well, Nancy Pelosi, as Shannon just said, and fellow Democrats have been trying to get the president to really connect to what this shutdown means. We know he doesn't have much of the way of empathy, or at least doesn't display it very often. And stories of federal workers not getting paychecks have yet to resonate. But take away a national television audience, that hurts this president.
And a tax refund.
It's something he can speak to. So he is looking very much forward to this address, and they are trying everything they can to have that moment. Details, though, still be worked out. Of course, tradition is to be in the House. Nancy Pelosi has rescinded that invitation. The White House team has suggested, could we have it in the Senate? That would certainly defy tradition. They have looked at the idea of trying to have it in the White House, but the president, according to our reporting, was very unhappy with how that address, his Oval Office address, went a few weeks ago. He thought he came off as lifeless. He thought he came off as flat. He didn't like the visuals of sitting behind the desk. He much prefers to be up and engaged, where he can interact with an audience. Best case scenario in this, of course, would be lawmakers in the well of the Capitol, where he would receive standing ovation after standing ovation, at least from half the room. If you can't have that, there are two possibilities. They're looking at other sites in D.C., if not the White House, but they haven't figured out a location that will work. Perhaps, as you say, it's great to hit the road. Hit the road. We're in Ohio or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, wherever it might be. But there's a sense that would look like another Trump rally. It wouldn't carry the meaning and the weight of what a state is.
Hey, Eliza, when the Republicans go into their caucus, whoever the modern-day equivalent, maybe it's Frank Luntz, of a Frank Luntz is, don't they have guidance polling, someone to stand up in the front of the room and say, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go very carefully here because we're all getting tagged with this?
Well, what's really interesting is polling so far has shown that the president has been tagged with this, first and foremost, then Democrats. But most polling actually puts Republicans kind of on the side because people associate the shutdown with Trump. So they've kind of tried to squeeze by on this. But the truth is Republicans are really afraid of the base that is still very loyal to the president. Trump is very popular with Republicans, and he won this election with a promise of the wall. And so he is doubling down, and it's forcing them to double down. There's a handful who are facing tough re-elections who have been vocal about trying to pass something that doesn't include wall money to just get the government reopened, but it's not likely that's going to be enough people to pass the clean bill on Thursday.
Shannon, I asked, without being snide, what percent of the president's day is spent on this shutdown, i.e. on fixing it?
I mean, as far as my reporting indicates, there's not much else happening in the White House other than this shutdown. The White House kind of has a bare bones staff right now. It's a little bit of a ghost town because a lot of the workers there are furloughed. Things they would like to be doing, like making it right. Well, infrastructure. There's still threats of another infrastructure week, but they would like to be sort of taking a victory lap on things like criminal justice reform, on this new NAFTA they negotiated. They would like to be really hammering away at China, negotiations there. They would like to be not disturbing the stock market with talk of the shutdown. There's a lot of things the White House would like to be doing right now that they can't be doing. Healthcare, maybe there's something they would like to get done on healthcare, but that has all really ground to a halt during this shutdown, and so that's really one of the kind of frustrating things for people inside is that this isn't. I know that immigration is the number one issue to Republicans, and they understand that too, and they understand how important the wall is to the president's supporters. But as this increasingly looks like an agenda without an end, this shutdown fight, it does start to worry people in the White House about, well, how do we get things back on track? They were supposed to be in re-election mode right now. This isn't a great way to start off re-election mode.
To Shannon Pettypiece, to Jonathan Lemire, to Eliza Collins, welcome. It's great to have you. And to all three of you, thank you for starting off our broadcast on a Tuesday night. As we continue, the FBI's dispatches from the field on how this shutdown is threatening national security, let's not forget. And later, a senior administration official has some advice for Rudy Giuliani. If what he's saying isn't helping the home team, let's stop saying it. The 11th hour just getting started on a Tuesday night.
Think back on 2018. Were breakouts part of the picture?
I just get really angry with these. They just don't go away.
Then start this year right with Proactive MD and an amazing new offer never seen before. Thousands of people everywhere have already discovered the awesome skin-clearing power of Proactive MD. Now, it's your turn.
Proactive MD helped me get the acne under control. I wish I tried this sooner. I wish I knew this sooner.
Proactive is the only system with a prescription-strength retinoid that penetrates deep to stop acne at the cellular level, and it keeps working for 24 hours, so new breakouts don't stand a chance.
I feel so good. I found what worked for me, which is Proactive, and now I'm free.
So let's celebrate. Here's to a new you this new year with a totally new offer. Order now. Proactive MD at a special New Year price, just $19.95, and we'll include our new deluxe pore cleansing brush free. The soft charcoal bristles help draw out impurities and keep your pores extra clean. And this New Year special gets better. Order before this clock runs out. It will also include not one, but two more specialized brush heads free. A micro-massaging silicone head for sensitive skin, and a fine bristle brush for extra smoothing.
I really love the brush, and I love the fact that you can change the little heads. I felt like I was working and getting in there.
Plus, to make this new year even sweeter, we'll also include our soothing green tea moisturizer as a free bonus. Altogether, that's $142 of premium Proactive products for just $19.95.
Oh my gosh!
Proactive MD is guaranteed to work or your money back, but keep the free gifts no matter what. Hurry, this New Year special won't last. Call 1-800-922-0463. That's 1-800-922-0463. Proactive MD, because it works.
So Frank, you're a big hurt. Why do you need Nugenix? After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Right. So does Nugenix really work?
Yes, it's the #1 seller free testosterone booster at GNC.
Okay, great. But does it work for you?
Oh yeah, my workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenix. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix by texting BONUS to 42424. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And trust me, you'll like the difference too.
Samples are not available in stores, so text BONUS to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
another major piece of new reporting broken by NBC News.
We're following a number of fast-paced developing stories this morning.
Last night, my wife, who is also an agent and is also my boss, we delivered food to our office for those in need. The FBI family comes together in times of crisis. It is truly sad that we must resort to this because we are being let down by our elected officials.
Gridlock in Washington is taking an especially hard toll on some of our nation's very top law enforcement officials, our premier law enforcement agency. That's according to a 72-page report filled with first-hand accounts from current FBI employees across the country. The report is from the FBI Agents Association and lays out how the shutdown is, among other things, quote, undermining criminal, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence operations. For an agency already under siege from the president, the shutdown is also taking a personal toll. In the words of one agent, quote, the federal government shutdowns mean we continue to work every day to protect America while investigations are delayed and my family goes without pay. And according to another, the fear is our enemies know they can run freely. Well, with us to talk about it, our national security analyst, Sean Henry, former executive assistant director at the FBI, among a number of posts, veteran of the Bureau. Sean, let us in on what life on the ground is likely like. For those of us who don't come home and take a badge off and take a holster off, family life is family life for the most part. And what must it be like? Did you ever think your Bureau would be a recipient of charity, of food drives, food banks, free meals, yard sales?
Well, Brian, the FBI is a very, very proud organization, and the men and the women in the FBI sacrifice on behalf of the American public every single day. They leave their families to go to work to help to disrupt some of the biggest attacks against the United States, criminal organizations, terrorists, etc. And they're doing it now for no pay. And when you listen to Tom O'Connor from the FBI Agents Association today talking about the disruption and the distraction and the pain that he's felt personally, that cuts across 32,000 employees in the FBI. It absolutely is impacting their morale. When people go to work, we know they're going to work. We know they're still trying to put up the mission and do what's right. But this is weighing on their minds, and it is absolutely a distraction for them. And it's also impacting the operations. While the people might be showing up, they've lost funding for some of the critical components of their investigations, the ability to pay sources. We heard about a joint terrorism task force that couldn't pay their intelligence sources, an MS-13 trial that's been postponed where they've got more than 20 people indicted. They don't have translators or contractors to come in and help them. So these operations are being impacted, and that is a risk for the American public. It's a risk to this country, and it is absolutely a national security challenge, Brian.
And that was one of my questions to you. Is there a trial starting tomorrow where there's not an agent available to come into court and raise his or her right hand? Is there a door that's not going to get knocked on tonight? Is there a drug raid for tomorrow that's been canceled because it was part of a joint operation? That kind of thing.
So there are some trials that have been postponed. I've talked to some folks who say trials have been postponed in anticipation of the inability to get certain witnesses to travel. Travel funds have been impacted here. So there have been some of that. But the infrastructure for the FBI, while the people are there, there are certain sensitive techniques that are utilized in their investigations. The FBI, as you know, is a proactive organization that's meant to prevent and detect and disrupt operations. They're not able to lean forward and do the things they should be doing to disrupt some of these attacks. You said in the lead-in, Brian, that our adversaries are watching. Make no mistake, they know what's happening here, and that is a long-term risk for us. I think if you're thinking national security long-term, there are a couple of motivators when foreign intelligence services are looking to co-opt people to work for them. One of them is finances, people who have financial problems. The other is when you're looking for somebody who may be disgruntled or has some dysfunction. And we've got a lot of disgruntled people and a lot of people who are looking for money. I'm certainly not saying that people in the FBI are going to turn over to our adversaries, but if you're looking long term, that's the environment that foreign intelligence services seize upon. And we've got 800,000 people who are living in that caustic environment right now, Brian.
Wow, that's a lot to reflect on. A hell of a powerful thing to say. Sean Henry, it's always a pleasure having you on the broadcast. Thank you very much. Our best to your former colleagues. Coming up, one senior administration official says about those comments from the president's personal attorney, he's not helping. The story when we come back.
Attention, all women diagnosed with ovarian cancer in the past 15 years. In July 2018, a jury awarded $4.6 billion against Johnson & Johnson on behalf of 22 women who were diagnosed with ovarian cancer and used baby powder and shower-to-shower products. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in the past 15 years, you may be entitled to a substantial settlement. I could never find a great jacket that fit well and could carry everything I wanted. That's when I found Scotty Vest. Scotty Vest is the only jacket you'll ever need.
They took a classic, well-made jacket and packed it with thoughtfully designed features. Scotty Vest is made with strategically designed pockets. They comfortably hold all my gear without weighing me down.
It's super lightweight, so it feels great when I wear it on a plane.
And the comfortable fabric keeps me warm, even in the winter.
The strategically placed pockets hold everything I need. It's like it was designed just for me.
When I wear my Scotty Vest, I feel ready for anything. Ready for work, ready for travel, ready for adventure.
Scotty Vest, featuring weather-resistant fabrics, styles for all seasons, and high-capacity pockets that carry everything you need. Visit ScottyVest.com today and get 20% off with code TV20.
Do you use catheters? Are you using the catheter that's really best for you?
Oh, yeah. For years, I've been using one kind of catheter, and I never knew that there were other really great catheters available until Liberator sent me samples to try. If I had not tried the samples from Liberator, I might never have found the perfect catheter for me. Liberator Medical sent me a catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. Now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier. My catheters were completely paid for, not a dime out of my pocket.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical. Get your free catheter sample pack.
Call 1-800-844-1960. That's 1-800-844-1960.
Going to the dentist. Have you seen my wallet?
If you think it's scary going to the dentist, just think how your wallet feels. Because if you don't have dental insurance, paying the bill can be really expensive. Just a simple cleaning can cost over $150. And things like root canals can cost hundreds, even thousands more. But now you can get dental insurance for about $1 a day from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. Call us for a free information kit. We help cover over 350 procedures, everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no deductibles and there's no annual maximum. Plus, you can see any dentist, so help protect your teeth and your wallet. Call us now for your free information kit with all the details.
New reporting from Politico tonight reveals President Trump is growing fed up with his personal lawyer, longtime friend from New York, that would be Giuliani. Politico tells it this way, quote, Trump was apoplectic after a pair of weekend media interviews by his personal lawyer in which Giuliani said that the president had been involved in discussions to build a Trump Tower in Moscow through the end of the 2016 campaign, a statement that enraged Trump because it contradicted his own public position. Trump spent much of Sunday and Monday fuming to aides and friends about his missteps. Asked who in the White House is responsible for handling Giuliani's missteps, a White House aide said, handling Rudy's expletive ups, use your imagination, takes more than one man. Giuliani pushed back at Politico's reporting, saying he's known Trump for 30 years and hasn't heard him complain. Meanwhile, last night, Giuliani was asked by The New Yorker if not always being truthful while working for Trump might impact his legacy. His answer was interesting. Quote, I'm afraid it will be on my gravestone. Rudy Giuliani, he lied for Trump. Somehow, I don't think that will be it. But if it is, so what do I care? I'll be dead. I figure I can explain it to St. Peter. He will be on my side because I am, so far, I don't think, as a lawyer, I ever said anything that's untruthful. I have a sense of ethics that is as high as anybody you can imagine. Let's talk about it, shall we, with our next guest. Cynthia Oxley's back with us, former federal prosecutor and a veteran of the Justice Department, who's nodding her head back and forth. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, I've never seen anything like it. You know, there's a lot of talk about what possibly is the value added at Rudy. And one is, you can make an argument, oh, he gets facts out in advance.
And he works for free, I should add that.
Let's look at, he works for free, that's another good one. But let's look at it. Like, for example, this latest one, where he says, the president told me that the conversations about the Russian tower deal were going on from when I started to run until I was elected. Okay, that is not helpful. Right? He could have said, we answered the questions to Robert Mueller in a broad way because the president wasn't sure, so we did it up till the election. That is a factual base. That's getting a fact out. But when he says, I had a conversation with the president, and he quoted the president, now what has he done? He has maybe waived attorney-client privilege, and he's also solidified that the president was lying to the American people during the entire campaign. I would view that as not helpful. And no wonder everybody in the White House is mad. Remember, it was about a month ago that they were saying the entire legal strategy was basically, Jesus, take the wheel. I can't do this on my own. And of course they're mad. If they're not mad, they're not thinking.
I want to show you a moment that happened. Sometimes even in this business, we are still capable of recognizing things that have yet to be said a certain way on television, especially depending on the speaker. This was our veteran FBI agent, veteran FBI counter-intel specialist, and longtime on-air contributor Frank Figliuzzi on with Nicole Wallace this afternoon, talking about the Russia investigation. Listen to this. We'll react to it on the other side.
I keep coming back to what's already been said is, why all the lying about Russia? And Nicole, I am left now with only one conclusion, that the news on Russia, the truth about Russia is so bad that no one can afford to let it leak out. We have too many people covering up the same thing over and over again, and the only conclusion I have is that it's about as bad as it can be. I'm developing a real sense here that there is now knowledge within the Trump circle that the Russians assist with in a successful way the winning of the presidency. I am increasingly convinced that this is what people are trying to cover. I'm particularly focused on Paul Manafort, right, and his incredible reticence and reluctance to fully cooperate. Mike Flynn and the judge saying, you're not there yet, I'm not ready to accept and to handle sentencing yet. The Trump family members, Cohen saying they're getting briefed. The polling data going from Manafort to Russia. All of this points to knowledge in my mind that the Russians were, it was understood that the Russians were assisting the campaign.
So, Cynthia, that stopped us in our tracks. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, Frank Figliuzzi is a treasure, and we're lucky that we have him. I mean, I rely on him. I call him all the time to bounce things off. I agree. I not only agree that the campaign has figured out, and the White House has figured out that, yes, there was assistance, but also that they're very worried about the quid pro quo issue. When Giuliani said this week, well, sure, the president didn't didn't work with the Russians, but I can't say that's true about other members of the campaign. That's a big red flag to you that he thinks there's a big problem. And another problem that Frank didn't mention, but I would say I agree with all of his list. You know, it's interesting that Mueller required Cohen to plead guilty when he didn't really need to. You know, they were already caught him on 8 felonies. But he's requiring him to plead guilty on the Russian Moscow Tower deal. What that tells me is that's a building block. That Mueller is focused on that Russian Tower deal, which is the quid pro quo for the Russian interference, and that he's going to build on it. And so that's another reason why I think the White House knows that something's coming.
Is Rudy, in your mind, guilty of unsound lawyering or unethical lawyering? And I ask because there's a controlling authority for everything. For airline pilots, for shrinks, for romaine lettuce. What would happen to a Rudy Giuliani, and would someone have to bring charges?
I'm not sure. I think if he would, I think he will get credit for his work in New York after 9/11 and the contributions that he's made. I don't think anybody wants to humiliate him. I don't think he'll be disbarred, and you know, if that's what you're asking me. I just think he's not helping the president, and my hunch is that that's starting to sink in, not only from these reports, but I noticed tonight that on Fox, Laura Ingraham took a shot at him, and that's always a sign that you know, the president is getting some information that it may be time to move on.
Cynthia Oxney, we always appreciate your contributions. Thank you very much for coming on with us again tonight. As we continue, will there be a State of the Union address in some form or another 1 week from tonight? Well, not one, but 2 Pulitzer Prize winners will join us to talk about it when we continue.
Not sure you have the right credit card? Know which one to get? Turn to the nerds. Hey there, aloha. Need a card with great travel rewards? Turn to the nerds. Yowza, that sounded expensive. Credit card with a lower interest rate? Turn to the nerds. Can we crack the window or something? The experts at NerdWallet make it easy to make smart money moves. Compare and find the best credit cards for you at nerdwallet.com.
This is an important message. If you walk with a traditional cane, you could be causing crippling pain. Researchers have discovered that traditional canes force you to walk hunched over, down, and unstable, which creates debilitating back, neck, and joint pain. Take your next step upright, secure, and with less pain with the Campbell Posture Cane, the ingenious walking cane that allows you to walk more upright, changing your line of sight so you look forward instead of down. You'll be perfectly balanced, safe, secure, and more comfortable when you walk.
With the Campbell Posture Cane, I've got more confidence and I see everything around me, and I love it.
I feel that it gives me more support, and I don't have to worry about falling.
The secret is in the revolutionary Campbell handle that takes the pressure off your shoulder and wrist, placing you in a natural, upright, pain-free position. And the Campbell Posture Cane comes with this 360-degree traction tip that stands next to you. Plus, it helps you easily get up and out of chairs and safely navigate sidewalks and stairs.
The Campbell Posture Cane works by supporting the strength of your body using biomechanical engineering to dramatically improve your posture, help you move easier, and feel less pain.
And the Campbell Posture Cane comes with 12 different height adjustments to customize the fit. Plus, it's lightweight and sturdy, making it easy to carry with you.
The Campbell Posture Cane has given me my freedom back.
During this special TV introduction, you can get your Campbell Posture Cane with the revolutionary Campbell handle and stand-up stability tip for the factory direct price of just $39.99. But to make this the most stand-up offer on TV, it comes with the Campbell Gold Medallion money-back guarantee. Call or go online to CampbellCane.com. That's CampbellCane.com. That's CampbellCane.com.
Call 1-800-710-3604. Again, that's 1-800-710-3604. Or go online to CampbellCane.com. Order now.
I got print, and I got 19 referrals.
I got 12 new students. I got 9 new listings.
I got print,
They got 500 business cards for just under $9.
GotPrint.com specializes in high-quality, full-color business cards at extremely affordable prices.
I love the quality of the printing and the savings. Amazing customer service. You guys rock, people.
Order now and get 500 business cards for as low as $8.50. Go to GotPrint.com. Promote yourself.
I get along great. I have great relationships with people. I think that people will be really surprised to see how well, if I win and I become president, I think you'll see a tremendous unification of the country.
That's going well. At the halfway point in the Trump's first term, that unity has been, shall we say, elusive. The latest fight over the wall and the shutdown has only heightened this feeling of deep division, polarization between the two parties. And now, the State of the Union address itself is part of the standoff, underscoring just how far apart these two sides are. If next week's speech takes place somewhere other than the House chamber in the U.S. Capitol, our next guests will have to write all new stuff, basically. With us for more, two recipients of the Pulitzer Prize. They had to be separated for security reasons. You just have to keep them all apart. The author, biographer, and presidential historian, John Meacham. His latest work is The Soul of America. More on that after this. And Eugene Robinson, the celebrated columnist for the Washington Post. John, I want you to go deep history professor in short segments, of course, and tell us origination of the State of the Union as a verbally delivered speech. That is, I understand it's written nowhere in the mechanism of government.
Right. Washington gave it as a speech in 1790 when the Capitol was in New York. It's in Article 2. The executive shall from time to time give information on the state system doesn't work. So you're looking at 100. Let's just date this from Wilson. You're looking at 105, 106 years of our being able, through war and peace and scandal, to work this out. And now all of a sudden we can't even schedule a speech.
Gene, I said earlier, it could begin with the line, "It's great to be back in Waukesha." Let's not rule that out.
I'm not ruling anything out.
Rick Wilson has a book called Everything Trump Touches Dies, which may put him in the no category. But let's agree that everything has been soiled in some way. Traditions and norms have fallen. This would be another. This fight over whether it's going to be delivered at all is the breakage of a norm.
Yeah, and it's a tradition. There's something comforting about the State of the Union, even though, let's be realistic. Let's look at what the State of the Union usually is. It's a set piece, right? And you and I can remember many truly memorable presidential speeches over the time we've been covering presidents. Not that many of them are State of the Union addresses. I mean, they're not generally great speeches. They're usually laundry lists more than speeches. Sometimes, because of the moment or the man, the speech rises above. But that's unusual. But there is something comforting about the ritual. It's like, it's, every year at this time, we have it, and it's Mr. Speaker, and they all come down the aisle, and they'll stand, and one side gets up, and the other side sits down, and it's like this, and the Supreme Court can't do anything. It's, I remember when Nancy Pelosi, the first time she became Speaker, and that image of, a woman sitting there behind the president, that changed America. I mean, that changed us in an increment. And
then we had the first African-American president, and then we had the first African-American president to be heckled from the well of the House.
Yes, we did.
You and I have covered a lot of
we've seen a lot of this. So maybe we won't see one this year. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll see something totally different. And it will be interesting to see after the Trump presidency is over. It will be over someday. Do we reclaim our traditions, or are some gone?
John, borrowing from the great phraseology of one Abraham Lincoln, your book deals with our better angels. Every other time you come on, I ask for names. Who strikes your fancy these days? When are they going to land, and could you give us a heads up on who they are?
I think that this is going to, They're going to be innumerable, and they're not going to be famous people. I really believe that change in America comes. America is rescued from its worst instincts, less by the actions of the powerful and more by the protest of the powerless that actually finally managed to get the attention of the powerful. Lyndon Johnson stood in that chamber in 1965 and finished the work of Lincoln. But Johnson didn't do it. It was because John Lewis was in the hospital in Selma because he had been beaten nearly to death. It was because Rosa Parks didn't get up. I really do believe that there is a sense in the country that things will, if they haven't gone too far, they certainly are mighty, mighty close. One other thought about the State of the Union, this is how far we've fallen. When George H.W. Bush was vice president, they started, you remember, handing out the text so that people could read along. And his mother, the formidable Dorothy Walker Bush, was watching on television and was watching her son not listen to the president, but read the speech. And she called him afterward and said, "George, I think it's rude of you not to listen to President Reagan." And the vice president said, but Ma, he's reading, I'm reading it. She said, well, he's also saying it, so I think you can just watch him and listen. So we've gone from Dorothy Walker Bush chiding her vice presidential son to not even having the damn thing. So once again, we've disproved Darwin.
I've never agreed with the advance text. I believe those speeches should be watched like viewers are watching at home. Eugene, your piece titled Above All Else, Trump is a Bully, kind of puts you on the record here, but it contained this quote that knocked me over. A shameful governing philosophy has emerged, cruelty for cruelty's sake. Imagine saying that about any other occupant.
No, I can't. We've had presidents who might have been cruel. They were generally cruel for a reason. 800,000 federal employees and untold numbers of contract workers are being punished. Some forced to work without pay. They're struggling to make ends meet. NBC had a heartbreaking interview with a woman who, who's deciding whether rent or chemo.
She's coming up at the end of our
It's just stunning. These people are being punished for no reason. They're being punished gratuitously by this president. The child separations, the family separations at the border as a deterrent, gratuitous cruelty, trying to destroy the Affordable Care Act because it's named after President Obama, having no idea and no intention of coming up with an idea of what to replace it with, knowing that people are going to lose their health care.
What they have in common,
gratuitous cruelty.
There are people on the other.
G4 is lightweight and compact. Plus, it's battery operated, so you can have oxygen anytime, anywhere. Imagine the freedom of doing the activities you love, spending more time with family outdoors, even traveling again. Call now for your free information kit. There's no obligation. Energy. Oxygen anytime, anywhere. Call 1-800-660-7982. That's 1-800-660-7982. Get your free information kit. Call 1-800-660-7982.
Welcome back. Thousands more Central American migrants are marching toward the United States right now. Fox News has been on the ground with this latest caravan. Our Ruth Jenkins hearing from many migrants who say that they're looking for a way out of extreme poverty. But with hundreds of millions of USAID dollars going to Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, President Trump warned that the money could soon be cut off if their leaders don't step in. So how much is the United States shelling out, and where is our money going? Joining me now is former U.S. Treasury spokesperson and CEO of Greenwich Media Strategies, Hagar Chamali. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So we have a lot of numbers to get through here. Let's begin first with Honduras. U.S. aid in 2017 to Honduras alone was over $180 million. So we want to talk about where that money is going. Is it doing any good?
You know, well, first we have to break it down because the 180 is collecting from a bunch, that's talking from Congress, you're talking about State Department, the Defense Department. So it's all being lumped in one all together. The requests for foreign aid for Honduras have gone down, and they're lower for the fiscal year 2019. So that's usually a good sign. It means that some of the programs are working, they don't need as much money. But the foreign aid for Honduras and a lot of the Central American countries in particular usually are going directly to civil society, right? These are programs for governance and justice and civil society, meaning education or agriculture.
To make the quality of life better.
That's the goal. I mean, it's a stated goal on the website at the State Department. The goal is to make the economy better there, the security situation better there, to reduce the number of migrants here.
Let's listen to what I mentioned that our Griff Jenkins is there on the ground with this latest caravan moving through. He was able to speak with the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Honduras on why the migrants are fleeing. Listen.
It's a better job, quality of life. They want a better quality of life. And the second issue is reunification. We are working with it, jobs or these skills of our people, trying to make them to stay here in the country. We know we need to work more, and that's what we are doing. We are seeing it not just as our country, but as a regional problem, and we are trying to solve it.
Yeah. So what you were just saying in terms of Honduras, let's move now to Guatemala, because we also, give a significant amount of money to them, over $257 million to Guatemala.
Listen, so Guatemala also suffers from very similar issues that Honduras does: corruption, violence, lack of economic opportunities. Also, Guatemala, the request for them for fiscal year 2019 has gone down. A lot of these countries. Now, to be fair, it is absolutely right to demand that the governments of these countries do better in providing jobs for their citizens, in providing security for their citizens. And some of the programs do help enforcement in that regard. Is it working? There's a lot of improvement, for sure. A lot of improvement that needs to be done.
And El Salvador is the last one that we're going to take a look at. USAID, as of 2017, more than $118 million to El Salvador.
Right, and that's, of all of them, that's the one that is the least. Again, has decreased for the coming year. They all suffer from similar issues, right? Violence, corruption, economic opportunity.
Corruption being the key word there, because how do we keep track of the money once it gets there?
Listen, when we give money, and I worked in the U.S. government for 12 years, foreign aid is a tool that we use just as much as any other tool in terms of achieving a foreign policy objective, right? Just as much as sanctions or communications or diplomacy. It's another tool, and it's never just given to the governments willy-nilly, whatever the government is. It's usually invested directly into a program that either the U.S. government manages itself through USAID, through the Peace Corps, whatever it might be, or through civil society groups, like local groups, or international.
So it's easier to track that the people that we're intending to help are the ones being held by the money.
Right. I mean, I think it's important to know this is not charitable giving.
Right. Yeah.
This is meant to achieve a specific objective. And the U.S. government is not stupid. I mean, they know that they can't just give blank checks to the governments. Right. They know that it would probably be wasted.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And we will be right back. Stay with us.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. Call the number on your screen right now to see if you qualify.
I've worked hard on the ranch all my life, and I just can't tell you how this back brace makes me feel so much better.
These professional-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, spinal disorders, stenosis, and other painful back problems.
I'm a retired truck driver, and I put a lot of miles on my back, and this back brace helped me feel much better.
Our medical-grade durable knee braces are designed for those with osteoarthritis and general knee pain and weakness. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out. Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-218-8932. That's 800-218-8932. That's 800-218-8932.
Thanks to my new knee brace, I can go shopping for the first time in months and not have to sit every 10 minutes.
Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. And best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out. Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-218-8932.
The brace was so easy to order. The people were friendly on the phone and handled everything for me. What a release.
Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out. Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-218-8932. That's 800-218-8932. That's 800-218-8932.
The Sheet reinvented. Ridiculously soft. Sheets Performance Sheets, delivering the ultimate deep sleep experience.
If technical fabrics can improve athletic performance, why can't we apply that same concept to sheets?
Traditional cotton sheets, but Sheet's patented fabrics transfer heat 2 times more effectively, breathe nearly 50% better, and wick moisture.
You sweat a little bit every single night, and Sheets will help keep you cool.
Sheets are wrinkle-free, have stay-fit corners, and best of all, Sheets feel ridiculously soft.
They're so much softer than any other sheet I've ever had.
Every time you climb into bed, you'll experience the Sheets sensation. Go to trysheets.com now to order your Sheets Performance Sheet Set. You'll get 25% off when you use the promo code on your screen, plus 2 additional pillowcases at no cost. Act now to get free shipping. Sleep on Sheets for 30 nights, and if you're not satisfied, we'll give you a full refund. Go online and see how Sheets deliver the ultimate deep sleep experience.
He was really one of the most vicious tyrants.
The United States was not going to give up until we did find Saddam.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So, what do Cubs fans and Trump supporters have in common? Neither are allowed in a new Chicago bar. The Hyde in Chicago posting this list of bar rules. And rule number 5, no Cubs fans. Rule number 6, no Trump supporters. The bar posted on Instagram that they don't have any room for negative people. The owner says it was meant to be funny and that your preferences won't get you kicked out as long as you keep them to yourself. And students, they are clucking for change at the University of Georgia. An environmental group is urging the school to ban Chick-fil-A from campus, calling it a white supremacist cult. Well, the group claiming that a poultry supplier employs vulnerable immigrants to work demoralizing jobs. Well, these complaints come months after UGA called on Chick-fil-A to help fund its failed food scholarships, by the way. And a sweet note left for a sheriff's deputy on his cruiser. It says, quote, "I love you, Dad. Be safe." Now, the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina says that this kind of loving support sustains them each and every day. Good stuff to end the show on. That wraps up this hour of Fox and Friends First. I hope you have a great day. Fox and Friends First continues right now. Bye-bye.
Love that note. That was so sweet. Thank you, Heather. It is Wednesday, January 23rd. Time to take action. The Senate on the verge of voting on dueling spending bills. One includes money for the wall, and the other, the Democrats' plan, only reopens the government.
So do either stand a chance as Democrats plot their next move in the House. Also, the team slammed by the left for standing his ground is now breaking his silence.
As far as standing there, they have every right to do so. I respect him. I'd like to talk to him.
A lot of anger on both sides of the issue as the White House weighs in.
Tara Armstrong, come on down!
That has cracked me up. Answering the call why one contestant was nowhere to be seen on The Price is Right.
Fox and Friends First continues right now.
It's like 40 degrees warmer today than it was on like Monday.
I know, it's kind of nice.
I'm wondering if the pools are open today.
Oh, good question. You'll be the only one out there. Let me know.
Good morning. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this Wednesday morning. I'm Rob Schmidt.
And I'm Julian Neely. Thank you so much, as always, for starting your day with us. Let's take you to this live look at Capitol Hill, where the Senate is set to vote on dual bills tomorrow. One backing President Trump on border security, the other a Democratic proposal to keep funds flowing through February 8th.
Garrett Tenney joins us live from Washington with the first sign of movement in Congress to maybe end this partial shutdown. Hey, Garrett.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Each of these proposals will need 60 votes to pass, and at this point, that is far from a sure thing. The president's plan would reopen the government, provide $5.7 billion for a portion of his border barrier, and give 3 years of legal protection to DACA recipients and thousands of other immigrants living in the U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is selling it as a compromise that would give each side some of what they want while ending the shutdown.
To reject this proposal, Democrats will have to prioritize political combat with the president ahead of federal workers, ahead of DACA recipients, ahead of border security, and ahead of stable and predictable government funding.
Democratic leaders are rejecting the president's proposal and are pushing their own bill, which already passed in the House and would fund the government through February 8th to give Congress more time to negotiate border security. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says the White House's plan isn't a compromise because his side was not included in the discussions.
There were no serious negotiations with Democratic leaders or any Democrat to produce this proposal. The president didn't ask what Democrats needed in a bill to achieve our support. He simply laid his proposal down on the table and proclaimed it a compromise.
If Republicans are able to get enough Democratic support in the Senate for the bill to pass, which, again, is no sure thing, it would then head over to the House and put pressure on Speaker Nancy Pelosi to allow a vote on it there, even if it doesn't have much of a chance of passing. So all of this is certainly movement, but still, at this point, no indication this shutdown will be over anytime soon. Robert J.
Okay, thank you very much, Garrett.
You got it.
House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer is breaking away from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi yet again. The top Democrat saying he is willing to have President Trump give his State of the Union address on the House floor.
Do you think that the president, he said, no, I want to go there in person and address everybody, would you, Steny Hoyer, be open to that?
Sure.
And do you think Nancy Pelosi would?
Look, I don't know what the discussions have been, because so I don't want to say.
Those are two teammates. Yeah.
Interesting. Meantime, the White House is moving forward, planning for an address next week. Despite Pelosi's request to delay it until the government reopens, it could be in front of Congress or at another venue. I had every right to stand there. The Covington teen at the center of the viral video controversy is speaking out, saying he respects the Native American protester who stood face-to-face with him on Capitol Hill.
All right, Todd Pyro joins us live as the governor of Kentucky comes to the students' defense. Hey, Todd.
Hey, guys. Good morning to you. This controversy seems to be escalating. The latest, that interview by Nick Sandmann and the shocking reactions that followed.
As far as standing there, I had every right to do so. My position is that I was not disrespectful to Mr. Phillips. I respect him. I'd like to talk to him. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we could have walked away.
Yet, despite now knowing the facts and seeing the full video, some still don't get it. One Twitter user writing, "This is why white supremacy still exists in America today. It never apologizes or acts like it does anything wrong. Instead, when it is put on full display for the world to see, it plays the victim and shifts the blame onto the actual victims that it has oppressed." Another one, "This kid is no hero. You are sending an important message to our youth. Hashtag lost a viewer threatening show," which aired that Sandmann interview. Views like that sparking outrage this morning from a chaperone on the trip and the Kentucky governor.
It's slander. It's an attack. It's using one's power to a point where it causes damage.
People didn't bother to do the basic checking of facts that anybody who's worth their salt in the media should have done, because this fit the narrative and the stereotype and the bigotry that they wanted so desperately to be able to run with. The White House Cops reached out to the students voicing support, but any future visits with the president will have to wait until the shutdown is over. Robin Jillian?
All right.
Okay, Todd, thank you so much. All right, our own Brett Baer is back at work addressing a car accident and the people who helped his family.
I don't usually give advice, but I think everyone should count your blessings. Thank you, Zach Black, and for all the Zachs across the country who stopped. Thank you, David. Thank you, Montana Highway Patrol and EMS personnel, who were all amazing.
Brett, his wife, and 2 kids were on their way to the airport after a ski trip in Montana when they got into the accident. Thankfully, they are all okay.
Yeah, that was really something. All right. The man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss threw a Christmas party at his home as he hid the teenager just steps away. Authorities say Jake Patterson forced Jamie to stay under his twin bed and blasted music to drown out any noise. The 13-year-old escaped 2 weeks after that. She's now back home with family in Wisconsin. Police say Patterson admits to killing Jamie's parents before kidnapping her in October. A man is under arrest after a missing woman is found alive in Boston. Police using a ping from Olivia Ambrose's cell phone to track her down at an apartment in the city. Suspect Victor Pena is accused of kidnapping the 23-year-old woman. Surveillance video shows him holding onto Olivia and leading her away from another man she was seen leaving a bar with on Saturday. Pena will be in court today.
A Michigan police officer shot in the face during a traffic stop makes a chilling radio call to save his life. Gosh. Officer Koenig is in stable condition. Jeff Koenig, he was able to describe his attacker and the vehicle he was in. Police found Joshua Rosebush with a gun, and shots were fired. The suspect is in the hospital. No other officers were hurt. Officer Koenig is a 16-year veteran of the force. The community has raised more than $99,000 for him, and we posted the link on our Facebook page if you'd like to help. The family of an American ex-Marine detained in Russia on spying charges says he was entrapped and is not guilty. Paul Whelan made his first public appearance in a Russian court yesterday. He was denied bail. His twin brother says Whelan is being used as a pawn.
If it was a real espionage case, I think we would have someone who was also under arrest and under similar charges for having transferred the information to Paul.
A Russian news outlet reports Whelan received a flash drive with a list of employees working in the Russian Defense Ministry. Minutes later, agents arrested him. Whelan's lawyer says he sees no evidence that his client is a spy.
All right, the Democrats not wasting any time giving a new progressive lawmaker investigating power.
When your son looks at you and says, "Mama, look, you won," bullies don't win. And I said, "Baby, they don't, because we're going to go in there, we're going to teach them."
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib leading a list of progressive Democrats named to the House Oversight Committee. A couple other familiar ones there, including Democratic Socialist New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The committee is set to grill Michael Cohen in a public hearing on February 7th.
President Trump's approval rating holding steady at 45% despite the partial government shutdown. That's according to a new Harvard-Harris poll released to the Hill with registered voters. That's up from 44% last month. Experts say strong economic numbers are allowing the president to weather the storm.
10 minutes after the Democrats appear unwilling to negotiate any deal involving border barriers or a wall, even if it's for a 3-year DACA extension. So how will this move play politically for the Democrats? We debate that coming up next.
And start spreading the news. Yankees closer Mariano Rivera is a baseball Hall of Famer, but it's how he did it that's making history. We're coming right back.
This simple banana peel represents a bold idea, a way to create energy from household trash. It not only saves about 80% in carbon emissions, it helps reduce landfill waste. That's why BP is partnering with the California company Fulcrum Bioenergy to turn garbage into jet fuel, because we can't let any good ideas go to waste. At BP, we see possibilities everywhere to help the world keep advancing.
Just want to find a used car without getting ripped off.
Start at the new Carfax.com.
Show me used trucks with great deals.
Ready to go.
car search at the all-new Carfax.com.
Prestige creams not living up to the hype. One jar shatters the competition. Olay Regenerist hydrates skin better than creams costing over $100, $200, and even $400. Fact check this ad in Good Housekeeping. Olay.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain. Now, from the company that's reshaped how America sleeps, there's the Contour Legacy Pillow. The only ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees, and thighs to instantly align your spine and help alleviate pain. Watch. When you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hips, and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment.
Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and crosses and puts you out of alignment, causing low back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to a much more restful sleep.
Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, fall out, and get caught on sheets. But the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow perfectly fits the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. And it's the only leg pillow that's exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made from a soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape, and the cover is machine washable. Now the Contour Legacy Pillow is just $19.99. But wait, you can also get the Contour Head Pillow, a $29 value free. Just pay a separate fee. The soothing orthopedic support will cradle your neck and head for full spine alignment. The Legacy Pillow also comes with a 90-night sleep tight guarantee. You get it all a $50 value, yours for just $19.99. So order now.
To order, call 1-800-713-6085 or go to getlegacypillow.com. 1-800-713-6085.
All right, protection for the dreamers, the DACA dreamers, now on the line. President Trump offering a 3-year extension to safeguard DACA, but Democrats refusing to even negotiate with his pitch. So with more than 800,000 dreamers looking for a solution, are Democrats in danger of dividing their base over their refusal to fund the wall and give them that 3-year extension? Here now to debate it is Democratic strategist Raul Avalar and the executive director of the Conservative Society, Chris Salcedo. Guys, thanks for coming on this morning. The Supreme Court made a big decision yesterday that hurts the president and his leverage power. They're not going to be looking at the DACA protections and whether or not his move to remove them was prudent, and they're going to stick with the Ninth Circuit for now. So the DACA kids are protected for the time being. Raul, does that affect Nancy Pelosi's ability to negotiate here?
Yes, it helps, actually. It gives us an opportunity to look at what's going to happen and what the president is actually proposing with this extension. So it'll be helpful for us.
Chris, what did you make of that? And what do you think the president does at this point? Because he was hoping for that as a big bargaining chip.
Well, I think any objective observer could say or can make the argument that President Trump was responsible for shutting down the government. But anybody who's been paying attention can also rationalize that it's the Democrats who are committed to keeping it shut down. This isn't the first time the Democrats have betrayed dreamers. Remember back in 2009 when Obama was elected, super majorities in that Congress. The Democrats promised, we're going to do something about illegal immigration reform, and they opted instead to shove Obamacare down our throats rather than keep their promise to the illegal immigrant and the immigrant community to do these reforms. And here we have it again, the Democrats more committed to keeping illegal activity going at the border rather than keeping their promises to the dream.
Yeah, let's take a look at what was in the president's pitch here from over the weekend. 3-year protection from deportation for some undocumented immigrants. Of course, the 700,000 is the number of dreamers that the president would like to give protections to for 3 more years. And offering to restore the temporary protected status, the TPS, for those 300,000 people who come from countries that are very dangerous. The Democrats are starting to feel some of the heat here. I even saw it on MSNBC, Tom Brokaw saying it's just as much on the Democrats at this point as it is on the Republicans. Raul, what do you think of that?
Look, I think this is a problem that we have to solve. I mean, and this is a problem actually that was created by the president. He took away DACA extension in TPS. So this is something that is being recreated by this president.
But he took it away to let Congress make it official, to do it officially right, so that it's not just an executive order.
No, absolutely we should. And, you know, and that was the opportunity that the Republicans had when they had the House, the Senate, and the White House, which never got done. So there's that piece.
Okay, that's fair. All right. There are a few Democrats here, Chris, that might be open to this, that have hinted that they might be open to a compromise that involves the border barriers. The president has backed off, even saying wall, and is now saying barriers in these high concentration areas. Joe Manchin, of course, in West Virginia, a big Trump state. You got Doug Jones in another red state, a Democrat in Alabama. And then you've got Mark Warner, who's a pretty good moderate, in Virginia. You know, you see even with Steny Hoyer kind of backing away from Nancy Pelosi last week a little bit on this. She's trying to hold this line. Is the line starting to break, Chris?
Yes, absolutely. When the Democrats lose the liberal biased Washington Post, when the Washington Post says, guys, do it right. The president's opening bid is, okay, temporary relief for the Dreamers. Why don't you guys counter with permanent relief? You know, I heard Clyburn right here on Fox over the weekend saying, well, we don't want to negotiate a permanent wall for a temporary Dreamer fix. Well, that tells us two things. They don't want permanent border security. we know they don't want a wall. They don't want a barrier, because you can't tell a barrier to stand down the way you can't border agents, the way Barack Obama did when he held the Oval Office. But it also tells us that the Democrats aren't even willing to make a counter-offer on behalf of the Dreamers, a constituency they say that they fully support, putting, as they always do, foreigners ahead of American citizens.
Yeah, it's interesting. And now with the president even backing off the sea-to-sea wall, it seems more of a better time to negotiate. To not have them at the table is bizarre. Guys, thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. 18 minutes after the hour, Elizabeth Warren hits the road with an anti-wall message that kind of fell flat.
Now, make no mistake, this wall is dumb.
All right, we're going to talk about that. And as another 2020 Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris, is making sure everybody knows that she's just like the rest of us by dancing in her office. Carly Chimkus is next with social media reaction as everybody tries to be relatable.
Minimums and fees seem to be the foundation of your typical bank. Capital One is anything but typical. That's why we designed savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Beauty editors have tried everything in search of a whiter smile. Their choice? Crest 3D White Strips. Our exclusive whitening formulation safely whitens 25 times better for a noticeably whiter smile. Trust America's #1 whitening treatment. Crest 3D White Strips.
People with type 2 diabetes are excited about the potential of once-weekly Ozempic. In a study with Ozempic, a majority of adults lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7 and maintained it.
Oh, under 7?
And you may lose weight. In the same one-year study, adults lost on average up to 12 pounds.
Oh, up to 12 pounds?
A 2-year study showed that Ozempic does not increase the risk of major cardiovascular events like heart attack, stroke, or death.
Oh, no increased risk.
Ozempic should not be the first medicine for treating diabetes or for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not share needles or pens. Don't reuse needles. Do not take Ozempic if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Ozempic. Stop taking Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, itching, rash, or trouble breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. Tell your doctor if you have diabetic retinopathy or vision changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase the risk for low blood sugar. Common side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach pain, and constipation. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
I discovered the potential with Ozempic.
Ask your healthcare provider if Ozempic is right for you. Strong, smart, outspoken.
On this show, we demand answers.
Nothing is off the table. China unit.
Look, Thomas?
They're big birds.
More like big hunk. Wow, Frank Thomas.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. You look like you could still be playing. That's what I said.
Well, I am feeling stronger and leaner.
So, Frank, what's your secret?
I discovered eugenics.
I wish my husband did.
It's easy. Just send the text.
If you're a guy over 40, text 42424 and enter the word ASH. Get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Eugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster in C. Eugenics is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels. To help you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive, more passion too.
Here, try a bottle. And trust me, she'll like it too.
Text 42424 and enter BASH to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores. So 42424 and enter BASH.
Good morning and welcome back. 2020 presidential hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren slamming President Trump during her visit to Puerto Rico, but her comments didn't go over so well on social media.
Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, here with the reaction coming in online. Carly.
Hey, good morning, guys. So, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren coming out swinging during her first prepared remarks since announcing interest in running for president. Elizabeth Warren called the president's border wall a 4-letter word, dumb. Take a look.
No mistake. This wall is dumb.
So Senator Warren was speaking to a captivated audience in Puerto Rico, like you said, but elsewhere on social media, her critics poked fun at that punchline. John on Twitter saying, man, Trump will never recover from this. And another Twitter user saying she stayed up all night to make sure that line was just perfect. So she's calling the border wall dumb. The president's calling her Pocahontas. Who wins this heavyweight battle of insults? You decide. I think it's not over. I think it's not over as well, Joe.
Hey, you know what? When I saw Elizabeth Warren drink that beer, I knew that she was just like us.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
now
right.
Kamala Harris is dancing. So I know that she is also just like us.
Just
Politicians
like
are so relatable, guys. All politicians.
Yeah, that's right. So Kamala Harris is, what is it? Her communications director shared a video that shows how she unwinds after a hard day's work. Watch. So there she is dancing to Cardi B. You know, Rob, I'm going to get right to this tweet because it kind of sums up what you're saying. This person says we're going to continue to see videos like this. Everyone is going to try so hard to increase their likability. I mean, you're right. We have Warren drinking the beer, Beto O'Rourke going to the dentist. Now this video, what's next? Okay. Sometimes nature just calls at the wrong time. Yeah, the price is right. They ran into a wee little problem after a contestant was nowhere to be found when she was called to come on down. Watch.
Tara Armstrong, come on down! You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. She's in the bathroom.
Nice to see you. Thought you'd never get here.
This video going super viral yesterday. Tara Armstrong did not appear to be embarrassed whatsoever that she was in the bathroom when her name was announced. And she wound up winning the bid on Contestants Roast, so she got the chance to play the game. Thank God she was able to do that despite the little bathroom break at an inopportune time. Kind of funny, though.
At least it wasn't like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, that's
right. It was like 20 seconds, you know.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse.
Sure could have. That's good.
All right, Carl, thanks so much. Okay, 25 minutes after the hour now, and officials vetting the caravan as they make their way to the U.S. The dangerous gang member and alleged murderer that they just found embedded in a group of migrants.
And many Democrats stood arm in arm with teachers during the Los Angeles strike. But our next guest says these lawmakers and their liberal policies are part of it. She'll explain.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, laminate, and even hardwood 75% off. Empire makes getting beautiful new floors easy. See samples in your home, get a free estimate, and have your floors professionally installed.
Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Schedule now. 800-588-2300 today. Megan's smile is getting a lot of attention. That's because she goes beyond brushing with Act mouthwash. Act freshens breath and strengthens enamel, protects teeth from harmful acids, and helps prevent cavities. Protect your smile every day. Go beyond brushing with Act.
Did you know the same hotel room can have many different prices? That's why TripAdvisor searches over 200 booking sites to find the lowest price on the hotel you want. Your perfect hotel room for the perfect price. TripAdvisor.
In the field, you need every tactical advantage, like high-tech sunglasses to enhance your vision. But that's not all. What about your hearing? Nick Bolton here with the latest and smallest tactical innovation for Bell & Howell. We call it the TAC Amplifier. Place the TAC Amplifier in your ear for enhanced hearing like you've never experienced before. You can dial it all the way up for when you need to detect the slightest movement, or choose a smaller boost for when you want to stay on general alert. The TAC Amplifier is so discreet, no one will even know you're wearing it. That makes it perfect for indoor use as well. Now you can listen to lectures and sermons at a volume that's perfect for you. And when you're somewhere with a lot of background noise,
Honey, could you pass me the bread, please?
TAC Amplifier hearing is even better than normal hearing. Tired of people complaining about the volume of the TV? With a TAC Amplifier, you can turn the TV down low and turn your hearing up high for a listening level ideal for everyone. So let's review. A TAC Amplifier can give you a tactical advantage in the field, help you hear better in a noisy room, and even let you enjoy TV at the right volume for everyone. I mean, there's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now to get your TAC Amplifier for the special introductory price of just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. Plus, it comes with our lifetime guarantee. But wait, order today and you can get a second TAC Amplifier. Just pay a separate fee. That's one for you and one to give to someone else who could use a tactical advantage. You get 2 TAC Amplifiers for one special low price. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-218-7998 or go to buytacamp.com. This offer is not available in stores, so call 1-800-218-7998. That's 1-800-218-7998 or order online at buytacamp.com. Call now.
All right, welcome back to Fox and Friends. First, here's a look at some of today's top stories. First, a live look at Capitol Hill, where the Senate just agreed to vote on dual funding bills. One backs the President Trump's request for $5.7 billion for border security and DACA protections for 3 years. The other is a Democratic proposal to keep funds flowing through February 8th, but with no talk of any wall in that bill. Lawmakers are going to vote on this tomorrow. We'll see if either of those has a chance. The team, also at the center of a viral video controversy, is speaking out, saying that he respects the Native American protester who stood face-to-face with him on Capitol Hill. Nick Sandman says he wishes he had walked away and avoided all of this, of course. The video quickly sparking outrage over the actions of those men, outrage over how the students from Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky were portrayed by the media in a negative light before the full story even came out. Also, a suspected murderer and gang member traveling to the U.S. in a caravan is nabbed in Mexico. Officials tell Fox News the man from El Salvador is wanted on several charges, including murder, kidnapping, and possession of drugs. He is part of both the 18th Street and MS-13 gangs. Nearly 6,600 migrants have now registered for temporary asylum and work visas in Mexico. So far, though, only 8 of those applications, 80, I should say, have been approved. All right, some other headlines here. The teen suspected of murdering 4 people in Nevada is living in the U.S. illegally. ICE confirming that Wilbur Martinez Guzman is from El Salvador. Agents say the 19-year-old has no previous criminal record or history of immigration violations. Investigators say that he robbed and shot the victims, 4 people in their homes, earlier this month. He is due in court tomorrow. Incredible video as California Highway Patrol rescues 2 hikers stranded overnight in Yosemite National Park. Watch as the crew lowers a line, and then one at a time, the hikers are hoisted up. And they say they got lost in the snow. They became trapped in a crevasse. They called 911, but rescuers had to wait until morning to reach them, so they had a cold night of waiting. They were not seriously hurt. Great job there. And a school bus full of kids bursts into flames. It was rammed from behind by another car while stopped at a railroad crossing in South Carolina. Firefighters calling the bus driver a hero. Look at that picture. Praising him for quickly getting all 34 elementary school students safely off that bus. That is something. All right, a winter storm pounding the Midwest, canceling nearly 1,500 flights and forcing 4,200 delays. In Wisconsin, a deputy jumps out of the way. Look at this. Ooh, narrowly escaping an out-of-control vehicle on ice. Nobody was hurt there. The car corrected. In Wyoming, blowing snow, shutting down a 100-mile stretch of a busy interstate. After this latest winter mess, it's back to bitter cold. Janice is here. This must be January, Janice.
It really is. We've had storm after storm moving across the country. Our next one is out west, but the current one in the Midwest. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. Just want to point out it's 32 here in New York. That feels really warm to us after a couple of days of teens and even single digits with wind chills below zero. Past 24 hours, here's our latest mess across the central U.S. A snow event over parts of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, but then it's too warm for snow. It will mainly be a rain event, perhaps even strong to severe thunderstorms as this front continues to move through, pushing across the northeast on Thursday. But as you can see, it's going to be warm along the coast, so just a rain event. On the backside of that, it could be cold enough for some snow, but this won't be a big snow maker at all. So that's the good news. Here's your forecast precipitation. A couple of inches of rain across portions of the Gulf Coast in the southeast, up towards the northeast. Not a lot of snow attached to this, just over the Great Lakes and the interior northeast. And then our next system moves across the northern Rockies, central Rockies. So again, not a blockbuster storm. It will be messy. It is going to cause some travel delays. Just, make sure that you're alert about that. Jillian, back to you.
You have prepared us, Janice.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this. In just hours, 500,000 students will be back in the classroom. The Los Angeles Teachers Union reaching a deal after striking for 6 days over a lack of funding, but tweeting, quote, "We can't solve 40 years of underinvestment in public education in just 1 week or with just one contract. So are liberal policies failing our students?" Joining me now is Ashley Hayek, Director of California Women's Leadership Association. Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at this agreement and some of the things. You can see there's a 6% salary increase for educators. It reduces class size as librarians, counselors, and nurses, and maintains the fiscal solvency. Now, most people argue that's a good thing. So who do you blame in this case?
Well, Margaret Thatcher says that trouble with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money. And we have a major problem with California's public school system, and it's called the unfunded pension liability. Currently, there's $107 billion in unfunded pension liability throughout California public schools. Since 2012, spending has increased by 70%. 70%, but most of that money is being depleted, going into the pension crisis. As a mother of 4 children, it is infuriating to think that instead of the money going directly into the classrooms to pay for the supplies, to help with teacher salaries, this money is going to be going back into the unions. Right now, we are seeing the strikes across the country, and especially through California. You'll see it with court reporters. You'll see it in school districts. Because after the Janus decision, unions had to start justifying their existence. So they're going back to the teachers. They're offering them a deal. We need to get you a better pay raise. We need to lower the classroom sizes. And what happened this past week? The school district lost $125 million. And the agreement they came to, the 6%, was what the school district initially offered before the strike.
So let's take a look at this tweet from Kamala Harris, which reads, quote, "Los Angeles teachers work day in and day out to inspire and educate the next generation of leaders. I'm standing in solidarity with them as they strike for improved student conditions, such as smaller class sizes and more counselors and librarians." I mean, nobody's arguing that the teachers don't deserve these things, but how do you make up for so many years of lost time when it comes to that?
Right, you can't make up for lost time. They've tried to increase money that goes into the schools, but not only are you dealing with the problem with the pensions, but you're also dealing with a housing crisis in California. You're dealing with a high cost of living. California teachers are paid one of the highest salaries in the country, but when you have a housing crisis, for teachers to make ends meet here. And that is a result of a Democrat governor, Democrat legislators, and just Democrat rule throughout the entire state.
Teachers shape our future generations. Very important part of our everyday lives. Ashley Haig, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
36 minutes after the hour now, a group of congressmen tour our southern border, getting a first-hand look at what's happening at the crisis on the border. Louis Gohmert of Texas was one of those lawmakers. He reveals what he learned and what Americans need to know.
And she gave the world 12 years to live if climate change goes unchecked. How the White House is cooling off Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We're coming back.
Ever since I started spreading the word about Super Crispy Northern Idaho frozen fries on TV, I've become kind of a celebrity. Cut from 100% real Idaho potatoes. They bake up crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Look. Uh-oh. Looks like I've been spotted.
Can we get a picture?
Sure.
Make sure you get the whole back of the shot.
Try Northern Idaho crispy puff, too. Mmm, crispy.
Do you suffer tired, aching legs? Are painful feet slowing you down? Relieve your aching legs and feet with Vide Ed Circulation Booster, a drug-free and clinically device that's been cleared by the FDA. Age, inactivity, or medical conditions can affect the blood flow in your legs and feet. The result, poor circulation and aches and pains. With Vide Ed's patented and clinically tested electrical muscle stimulation, it gets your leg muscles moving, increasing fresh, oxygen-rich blood in your legs and feet, improving leg muscle strength and endurance, and importantly, reducing your aches and pains. Fact is, 4 out of 5 people who try Vide Ed keep it because it works.
I've tried everything to get rid of my pain, and nothing has worked like Vide Ed. And even better, it's not a drug.
My granddaughter asked me to dance with her. Well, I can't turn down my granddaughter, right? So I danced 2 long dances with her, and I would never have been able to do that without Vide Ed.
Makes a big difference. Quality of life. It's nice to have that filling back and have the control.
Vide Ed is easy to use. Put your feet on, turn it on. Now increase the intensity to get your leg muscles pumping and your blood moving. And if you use Vide Ed daily for 6 to 8 weeks, we promise you'll experience significant relief from your aches and pains and back doing the things you love. Try it risk-free with our 60-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. If you're not satisfied, return it for a full refund. We'll even pay your return shipping. That's how confident we are in the power of Vide Ed. Go to tryvideit.com right now or call 1-800-320-5421. That's tryvideit.com. Visit our site today.
You don't have to live with pain. You just have to take the leap and try Vide Ed.
It's been a long time since Andy dusted off his dancing shoes. Luckily, Dan Chebret will be the least of his worries, because he uses Polident 4-in-1 cleaning system to kill 99.99% of odor-causing bacteria. Polident, clean, fresh, and confident.
Going to extremes for perfect skin? Where does it end? New Olay Whips. While not equal to cosmetic procedures, our V3 complex hydrates to smooth skin. Injections rejected. Beautiful skin accepted. Olay.
Big update here from the Australian Open. Serena Williams knocked out. She dropped the final 2 sets against Karolina Pliskova. Williams turned her ankle toward the end of the match. And that probably is what led to it. Despite 4 chances to win, she had 4 match points. Her chase of a record-tying 24th Grand Slam is now over, at least for now. We'll be back then.
Yankees closer Mariano Rivera becomes the first player unanimously inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Oh man, look at that celebration. President Trump tweeting congratulations to Mariano Rivera on unanimously being elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Not only a great player, but a great person. I am thankful for his support of the Opioid Drug Abuse Commission and Fitness Gov. Rory Halladay, who passed away in that plane accident, Edgar Martinez, and Mike Mussina were also elected.
Sorry about the hair.
It looks great. I mean, you're fine.
I'm trying to get an adjustment here while I'm off camera, and of course I get called out.
Surprise!
All right, the 2019 Oscar nominations are in. The critics are out in full force with some big surprises and some big snubs.
Joining us now with his predictions is Fox News contributor Kevin McCarthy, whose hair always looks fantastic. Kevin?
Thank you. Good morning to you, Jillian and Rob. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning. Good. Let's start with Best Actor predictions.
Yeah, yesterday was a very emotional day for me as I spend most of my year in film. I see 150 films a year, so I compare it to people watching sports events and kind of getting emotionally invested in those events. And when the Oscar nominations come out, it's like my playoffs, basically. And you get emotional. But yesterday, as you mentioned with Best Actor, that category ended up being very solid. Every actor in this category delivered an amazing performance. I think right now, Jillian and Rob, I think that Rami Malek is your frontrunner for Bohemian Rhapsody. He's absolutely brilliant in this performance. Also, don't count out Christian Bale. Now, Malik won the Golden Globe. Bale won the Critics' Choice. But if I had it up, if it was up to me, I would give Bradley Cooper this award for A Star Is Born. I think he completely disappeared in the role. But so did Malik. So I'm okay with either of them winning, but I'm kind of rooting for Bradley Cooper here for Best Actor.
Some great actors there. What about Best Actress?
Yeah, and again, another solid category. Now, here's what happens with the Academy Awards. I think that they end up giving awards a lot to the career of an actor. So, for example, I think right now Glenn Close, who's the frontrunner for a movie called The Wife, I think she's going to win this award. The performance is very good, but she's been nominated many times over the years, but has never won an Oscar in this category. Right now, I think Gaga deserves this award, but I'm very happy to see Glenn Close finally win. I just wish it was for a better film. I just think A Star Is Born and Lady Gaga are better films and better performances.
Glenn Close should have won for Fatal Attraction. That was great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Let's go to Best Director.
All right, so Best Director. Now, Alfonso Cuarón right now is your frontrunner for Roma. This is one of the best films of the year. Now, if you saw the nominations yesterday, Roma and The Favorite are the top two films with the most nominations, 10 each. Now, in this category, director, as you mentioned, I think Roma will go to Alfonso Cuarón for Best Director. But please, I gotta say, I'm very upset about Bradley Cooper not getting nominated for Best Director here, or Damien Chazelle for First Man. This category seemed a little bit weird, especially considering Adam McKay was nominated for Best Director for Vice, which I think directing was the worst part of that movie, in my opinion. The performances were amazing, but director, that should not be happening for Best Director for Adam McKay, in my opinion. So I think Bradley Cooper needs to be in that mix, but he's not, unfortunately.
All right, how about Best Picture? This is the big one.
Yeah, and this is an interesting thing, because yesterday I was happy that Black Panther became the first superhero movie to ever be nominated for a Best Picture award, but there are a lot of things missing in this category. No nomination for First Man, no nomination for If Beale Street Could Talk, but looking at this award right now, Rob and Jillian, I think that Roma will take home the biggest award of the night, and it's an amazing film. I've seen it 4 times. I highly recommend seeing it. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it there, but I would recommend seeing it in the theater if you possibly can. But right now, Netflix has a Best Picture nomination the first time in the history of the company. So big deal for that. So hopefully we'll see what happens on February 24th. But I'm very, very upset about First Man kind of getting shut out in the major categories.
I also feel like you're like president of the Bradley Cooper fan club.
I am. I think Bradley Cooper did a brilliant job with The Star Is Born. I know, Rob, you saw A Star Is Born.
It was a great movie. I had it admitted a couple times, though. I mean,
you're talking about a guy who wrote, produced, directed, starred. He plays guitar, he sings. I mean, how do you hold all that together? It's amazing.
It's a good movie. It is a good movie. All right, Kevin, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
It is about 15 minutes until the top of the hour. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez issuing a doomsday prediction.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. This is our World War II.
12 years. Now the White House is pulling her off with global warming. Okay, global warming tweak.
We already had a World War II, and it was a pretty impactful thing in this country. Just let's throw that in there. But first, let's check with Brian Kilmeade and see what's coming up on Fox and Friends.
All right. Hi, Brian.
Did you hear about World War II? And counting, we'll start the backwards clock. Let me tell you what's going to come up over the next 3 hours. First off, we are now going to have dueling bills in the Senate. Both in an effort to end the shutdown. For the Democrats are going to say, we'd like this done by, we'd like a pause until February 8th. We'll negotiate in between. For Senator McConnell, he's saying, I like what the president said on Saturday. I'm going to write it up and put it up for a vote. Both are likely to fail. What does that mean for those waiting for a paycheck? We'll discuss that. Also, the Covington High School situation is continuing to heat up so bad they canceled school. student who was on that field trip will be here, and Grant Hillman, a Covington High School student, he will also be here as we see the protests happening outside that school, including more from Native Americans. And we're going to have Tommy Lahren. She's going to be here live talking about what's happening with the war for the wall, as well as Sarah Sanders, why the president said to her, let's just stop the press briefings. They're not working for us. Don't miss a minute of Fox and Friends, and I urge you to please get dressed.
We will not miss any of it, Brian. See you soon.
Thanks for dressing.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. For psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain, and the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla. Show more of you.
Mike Pompeo on the story. Inside Trump's foreign policy agenda, his next moves, and how it'll impact the nation. Martha's exclusive with our Secretary of State tonight.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Travis Stork. And if you've ever seen me on television, you already know my passion is helping people live longer, healthier lives. Did you know that 1 out of 3 Americans suffer from high blood pressure? And the older you get, the greater the risk. So I was excited when I came across the Zona Plus. It's a drug-free, software-controlled handheld device which uses the proven science of isometric therapy to help lower blood pressure naturally.
As a physician who's experienced great results with the Zona Plus, I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone.
I've been using it now for about a year and a half, and I absolutely love it.
If you've been recently diagnosed with high blood pressure, or you've been dealing with it for years, you could benefit from adding the Zona Plus to your treatment plan.
And with the company's fantastic 90-day money-back guarantee, backed by a full refund of the purchase price, there's no risk. You have everything to gain by giving Zona Plus a try for 90 days. Call now at 800-311-6730 or visit us online at zonaplus.com.
Frank Thomas, a.k.a. the Big Hurt, used to keep pretty busy on the baseball field. But now, he's busier than ever.
After I turned 40, it wasn't easy to keep up. Everything changed. My energy, my drive. Then I found Nugenix Total T.
New Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text STOCK to 321321.
Nugenix helped me feel better. I feel stronger. I have more energy. I have the energy and the stamina and the strength. It makes me feel awesome.
From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product, new Nugenix Total T helps provide even more energy, performance, testosterone, and muscle-boosting ingredients for even better results.
With Total T, 40 was just another number.
Text STOCK to 321321 now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. That's STOCK to 321321.
The president proposed is granting what he had already taken away. The DACA recipients had their protections. TSP, the temporary protected status, TPS, had their protection. And now he's saying, well, I'll give you this back temporarily.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejecting the Republicans' latest proposal to reopen the government as the Senate prepares for a big vote.
A second Democratic bill also heads to the floor tomorrow without money for a wall. But do either of these bills stand a chance of passing?
Joining us now is Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert. Louis, thanks for coming on this morning, sir.
Sure. Great to be with you.
A lot of politicians don't go to visit the border, but they're happy to tell Border Patrol what they need and what they don't need. You actually went there. What did you find?
Well, I've spent a lot of nights on the Texas and Mexico border, but this was a trip Congressman Andy Biggs set up with Paul Gosar from Arizona, and it is extraordinary what we saw. It is a great deal different from the Texas border, and we have barriers in some places, But then they stop. And then there's nothing that prevents people from just walking around the ends of these great barrier walls. And you see pictures of it. But they have an end to them. And we've got to fix that. The great barriers, the Border Patrol says they're fantastic. The military that was sent have been very helpful according to